Hope, humanity and teamwork. We are calling it the Great Indian Rescue here on India Today. 1 billion people across the country and many more across the world were pleasantly surprised by the 17-day-long rescue operation that ultimately brought out 41 people trapped inside the tunnel. Now, 7 central teams, several state agencies, global experts, the Indian Army, the Indian Air Force, the National Disaster Response Force, the NDMA, Health and Railways Ministries, all these agencies and individuals working together as one team. The government of India pulled all stops to ensure that the workers were brought out safely. The directions from Prime Minister Narendra Modi were crystal clear. The 41 workers must be rescued alive at all costs. Spontaneous celebrations at the Silkyara tunnel as the 41 trapped workers were pulled out to safety. Till minutes earlier, it seemed like mission impossible. 17 days of oscillating between hope and despair. Many had given up hope when the auger machine broke down, and some were in despair with mudslides blocking rescue operations. But workers inside say they were always confident they would not be abandoned.
तू में हो जाती है, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी आपने सारा धैर्य रखा. मैं लगातार जानकारियां लेते रहता था, मुख्यमंत्री जी से भी लगातार संपर्क में रहता था. देश के लोगों को चिंता थी और सुबह शाम जो भी मिलता था तो मुझे यही पूछता था कि मोदी जी क्या खबर है, ये कब निकलेंगे, क्या होगा. सामान्य नागरिक भी मेरे से ये सवाल पहले पूछता था.
Foreman Gabbar Singh here telling Prime Minister Narendra Modi he was confident of being rescued. And there is a reason for this confidence. Be it the Russia-Ukraine war zone or Indians trapped in war-torn Sudan or the crisis in Yemen, Prime Minister Narendra Modi insisted Indians be brought out of harm's way in every situation. And this past precedence gave the workers confidence that the government would not abandon them. 17 days of being trapped, workers knew efforts were being made by government agencies and even the private sector to bring them out safely.
हमारे माननीय मुख्यमंत्री पुष्कर सिंह धामी साहब हमसे बात करते थे सर. वो हमसे हमारे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में बराबर बने रहते थे सर. और हमारी कंपनी की पूरी कंपनी की टीम लगी हुई थी सर. ये कंपनी हमारी फैमिली की जैसी थी सर. कंपनी की तरफ से भी सर कोई कमी नहीं हुई सर. उन्होंने किसी तरह कोई कसर नहीं छोड़ी. दिन रात एक किया सर. हमारी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट भी सर हमारे साथ में रही. उनके सारे कर्मचारी एकदम दिल से लगे रहे सर हमारे साथ में. हमारी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट भी हमारे साथ में पूरी बराबर बनी रही सर.
There were multiple challenges initially. How to get the workers out quickly, how to keep their morale high inside the tunnel, how to ensure they were able to communicate with their families on Diwali, and how to get them oxygen, food and water supply.
पहले दिन ही फोन आ गया था. जैसे वो अपने बॉर्डर के कार्यक्रम से दीपावली के बाद, वो चूंकि दीपावली के दिन हमेशा सेना के लोगों के बीच में रहते हैं, वहां से आने के बाद उनका फोन आया. तो मैंने उनको कहा कि ऐसे ऐसे प्रयास हम कर रहे हैं. तो उन्होंने कहा नहीं, सब प्रयास करिए और पूरी जानकारी उसकी करिए, कैसे कैसे क्या हो सकता है. हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी के कारण ही जो है हैदराबाद से और इंदौर से. और
प्लान हुआ, अब मैं टोक रही हूँ इसलिए क्योंकि जब प्लान हुआ ऑगर मशीन मंगाने का, तो कितने घंटों में ऑगर मशीन आपके पास पहुंच गई?
ऑगर मशीन तो हमारे पास तत्काली रात को आ गई. रात को आ गई. और बल्कि वो मशीन इतनी हैवी थी, उसको एयरफोर्स के प्लेन से लाया गया.
Foreign experts were also roped in to help in the operations. 17 days later, the world appreciates India's efforts and success. Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese took to social media platform X to say, proud of India's achievement and the role of Professor Arnold Dix in India's successful rescue operations.
We knew exactly what we wanted and we worked as a wonderful team. And when I say a wonderful team, the best engineers here in India, the Army, their engineers, the best I've ever worked with, all the agencies, the federal authority, the state, all the people. It was just a joy.
The operation was successful, but this wasn't luck, but sheer hard work. Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami 8 times. Union Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari visited the Silkyara tunnel, and General V.K. Singh, Minister of State and former Chief of the Army Staff, was deployed on Ground Zero to ensure all operations and coordination happen smoothly. And there were also top officials like Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Principal Secretary P.K. Mishra and Union Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla, ensuring that there were no roadblocks in the rescue operations.
जिस प्रकार से किसी भी आपदा को या किसी भी देश की ऐसी चीज को हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी लेते हैं, वो अपने आप के अंदर उसकी कोई मिसाल नहीं है। पूरे टाइम शुरू से लेके जब तक लोग बाग निकल नहीं गए और निकलने के बाद उनसे बात करना, ये उनके एक ऐसा गुण है लीडरशिप का जो आपको अमूमन देखने को नहीं मिलेगा।
More than 30 central and state government agencies and departments worked round the clock to ensure smooth operations and a successful completion. But this wasn't the first time. In Operation Ajay, Indians caught in Israel were brought home safely. In Operation Ganga, Indians caught in the Russia-Ukraine conflict were flown out from Eastern Europe. Under Operation Kaveri, Indians trapped and strafed on Sudan were flown out of harm's way. As part of Operation Devi Shakti, with the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan and the situation fast deteriorating, Indian Air Force aircraft rushed Indians back home safely. Under Operation Rahat in 2015, from strife-torn Yemen, thousands of Indians were brought out of harm's way. Indian Navy brought out the Indians there. As part of Operation Vande Bharat, more than 60 lakh Indians were brought back home from across the world during the corona crisis. This past precedence gave tunnel workers confidence that no stone would be left unturned to bring them out of harm's way. Bureau Report, India Today. The Silkyara tunnel rescue was a constant battle between hope and despair, but a battle that India won. General V.K. Singh, Minister of State, Road Transport and Highways, was India's general on ground in this war. He joins me on India First. General, many congratulations.
Thank you very much, Gaurav.
General, what was the biggest challenge that you faced at Silkyara?
See, when you go in a crisis situation like this, where you've got people trapped with enclosed space, it is a difficult situation. And in this situation, you have to find how do you get to them? There can be a system where you go straight through the tunnel, where the muck has or the come down, or you do a side drilling from one of the sides and do a horizontal side drilling, or you do a vertical one. Each one carries with it its own risks and advantages. And therefore, what I would say is that the challenge was, what is the best combination available? How do we reach the fastest? How do we ensure that we do not, in the process of rescue, trigger off another avalanche of mud or something coming from the tunnel where the mishap had occurred? So there were many factors which created a situation which was certainly challenging.
And were there any anxious moments anytime you thought that the battle was either lost or extremely challenging?
See, what had happened was that if I give a small sequence of events, The muck came down. They tried to use the excavators and other equipment that they had. It came down more, in half burying one of the vehicles of ours. Then they went back and let the muck, accumulate. So the initial thinking was that we'll use an auger, drill through the muck that is there, reach the other side. The muck was not appearing to be too much. However, when that auger was procured from irrigation department, it wasn't, the machine was not all that powerful, and it stopped when it hit the first rock. We got another auger. It did a good progress. Then it got entangled with the lattice girders and all the steel that is used to shore up the roof, which had come down. The rods got entangled into the bit head of the auger, and it just stopped. It cannot take that kind of a friction where there's an iron rod and all the material below it, which is stopping. Looked at, a methodology where we started the vertical drilling. We said we must have an option. We started drilling from the other end of the portal where a mini tunnel by THDC was being done. And we had plans to do sideways horizontal drilling also, so that we had many options available. In the meantime, it took time to replace this particular auger which had got stuck. It was taken out. It was. It took us a lot of time to cut out the pipe which had got damaged. Second auger went in, and again we hit metal. And this metal got totally, stuck into the auger head as well as the pipe in which it was going. So we had done a great crisis situation. What do we do? Do we abandon this? Do we say, okay, now we will only go manual, which right from beginning on a side drift from the side of the tunnel, and for which our army people were prepared. There was no problem. But time taken would be a significant factor in decision making.
Yes.
So we chose to take this out by cutting out the fins of the auger and then taking out the shaft by cutting it. It took time. But let me tell you that these were anxious moments where we had to monitor time, we had to monitor the health of people who are working inside the pipe. There's hardly any space when you put the auger in. And for them to cut it open, it was quite a complicated issue. At the same time, we were getting our side drift methodology ready so that we could launch it in case there were problems in getting the auger out in the required time frame.
The Prime Minister said that you're soldiering.
This is the phase in which we faced a crisis situation.
Oh, absolutely. The Prime Minister said that your soldiering came in very handy. What were his directions to you, sir?
See, one thing which you learn in the army is you will have problems. You will have difficulties. You will have hills to cross and rivers to swim. But if you give up, you've lost the battle. Yep. You can't give up. You have to find ways around the problem. You have to find ways through the problem. And that is what made a difference, where there were people, there were workers who were welders who were doing work. Everybody, you have to keep that motivational level very high. And this is where the soldiering came in handy. You also have to look after the motivation and the morale of people who are trapped. Pep them up, ensure that they feel the energy that was prevailing on this side, that we will take them out. So, it requires on the side standing, ensuring that everybody is doing work, yet not meddling into the minor work, so that things can proceed the way they should at the pace at which you want.
And General, you wear many hats. You've been former army commander in that very crucial Eastern Command. You were army chief and now a union minister. There are those who say that do we need all these tunnels and highways in very sensitive Himalayan region? What would your response to them be?
See, you'll find a lot of skeptics. All roads that we are making, we are keeping ecology in mind. We have got experts to work on that. Progress, development, and ecology and preservation of the environment all go together. It is all dependent on each other. So we are not saying, okay, to hell with ecology and hell with everything and we'll do it. The only thing which we have to understand, which a lot of people don't understand, Himalayas are a young mountain. They're not like Alps, which are old mountain. Yeah. They're not like Aravallis, which are old mountain. Here, the geology is a very difficult geology. You actually have mud and stones, and at times various types of stones. There are, slate-like soft sandstone. You've got hard rocks, and you've got a lot of mud. So it makes things that much difficult. And that is why whenever we make a project, a lot of effort goes into investigating the nature of geology so that we can make things better. And I would say, if you don't have good roads, your progress is impeded. If you don't have means of communication, if you're, you have a village track only going, look at Uttarakhand itself. A lot of people have left the hills because there was no road to their houses. Yes. I've met Jawans who would say, sir, मैं बस से जाऊंगा, उसके बाद मैं 5 किलोमीटर अपना सामान लेकर अपने घर जाऊंगा. First opportunity they find, they leave the village. Yeah. Can we allow that to happen? No. Should we also have progress in these areas? Absolutely. And roads, bridges, tunnels, they're all parts of the overall development. And
General, while tunnels are very important, especially in crucial border areas, especially given adversaries that India has, is an audit of these tunnels also needed? Is there need in some places perhaps for some course correction?
See, each tunnel that is made, you have a DPR. The DPR is vetted. You have authority engineers, and like in this tunnel, you have a firm which is Austrian. Yes. You have those people on the site looking at things as to how they are going. It is not that somebody is told, okay, here is the tunnel, make it. No, everything is checked. And to all those who are, whose skepticism is very high, let me tell you, this particular area, which was known sensitive area as part of the DPR, as part of the investigations, the initial work was done on it. That is the, 4 pipes and you have the lattice girders coming up so that it can take the weight of the earth on top of it. And for almost 4 years, it was a stable area. Yes. Nothing had happened. And when they decided that now we should make it permanent, bring in all the concrete and all other things that they wanted to clean it up before they started doing it, the whole thing collapsed. And they found that the earth there had become almost like plastic. This is geology. What do you do about geology? You need to be very careful. There are areas where we are making tunnels in another area of Himalayas. Every meter, the geology is changing. Wow. That's the challenge. And we have to accept that challenge and still do our work. There are mitigating factors that are put into place. There are many things which are done to ensure safety is there. However, if something happens, then you have to look at what can we do at that time.
Fair enough. What are lessons learned for you? Because, even in your army days and today, from every incident, there are lessons learned. when it comes to coordination, one, how was coordination achieved? And two, from Silkyara tunnel rescue operations, the lessons learned, General.
See, where the coordination is concerned, a great amount of coordination was achieved. And let me also say with great amount of conviction, I would like to lay all the credit on our Honorable Prime Minister. Right from day one, he was monitoring. Right from day one, he was talking to all people who were concerned. There was a team from PMO which was on the site to ensure that whatever coordinational problems and equipment or any other help that we required, it was fetched up in time. And mind you, there was no dearth of resources. Whatever we wanted came. Whether it was coming from Odisha, whether it was coming from Valsad, whether it was coming from anywhere else in the country, all came, including the landing of C-130 at Dharasu,
Yes.
which was found otherwise unsuitable. They took the risk because it was important that that equipment comes. Where coordination is concerned, besides the team from PMO, our own ministry, the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, we had our Minister Gadkari ji overseeing the whole thing. He visited the site, he put things into place, and the ministry was ever ready with a team to ensure that things worked well. Our secretary, Anurag Jain, he was there on the site, so that anything that has to be sorted out and decisions have to be given, they can be given immediately. So, where coordination with my right and people who were there, it was ensured that they were all on the same piece of sheet in working is concerned. Everybody was explained what will be the alternatives, what is the resources, who will do what, and it worked very well.
It indeed did, and all's well that ends well. General, for joining me here on this India First special, many thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gaurav.